Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Grassroot Chats. We are in the studio today to give you a good recording of Play to the Whistle. With me, we have Dunk, the Angry One, and Mr. Hinder. Today, we are looking at a lot of departures. These boys are running away and everybody wanting to go to somewhere new. So we're going to look at what lies in the future for Gareth Bale, Robert Lewandowski, Lukaku, and of course, Sadio Manny. And also, we shall discuss three potential players the guys here in the studio think certain clubs, particularly Liverpool, West Ham, Leicester and Brighton should add to their squad. But before we start, ladies and gentlemen, please, if you like what you see, what you watch, please subscribe, hit that follow button, follow us on all social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, and all our content can be found on www.grassrootchats.com. So we shall start very simply with the Welsh. Qualifying for the World Cup after 64 years, history has been made. A good cross in by Gareth Bale, own goal by Yarmolenko. Unfortunately, the Ukrainians couldn't make it to the World Cup. But Wales is in the World Cup now. But all the talk is about Gareth Bale. He's leaving or has left Real Madrid. He's 32 years old, 3 La Liga titles, 5 Champions League. Now, the talk was if Wales doesn't qualify for the World Cup, he would have retired at 32. But now that they have, there's a talk about him going to Cardiff. Dunk, would you say, with the titles I've mentioned and the appearances he has had, some people still question whether Gareth Bale was successful at Real Madrid. What do you think?
I think they're talking out of their arse if you're questioning whether he's successful at Real Madrid. 5 Champions Leagues and however many titles. Like it says it all. Like he was a total success at Real Madrid. It's just that case of like people just remember the last year or two of what's happened with his contract, just running it down. But yeah, he's totally been a success at Real Madrid, and like we were discussing earlier, like he has to be like the most successful British player at an overseas club ever, really. I think he's probably won more things than anyone else has. So again, like unfortunately for him, like I don't blame him for what he did. He ran down his contract, and I don't know if he refused the move when it was offered. There only seemed to be that like Chinese club going in for him. But
apparently he wanted to move, and Real Madrid actually blocked that move, so nobody knows why. So
yeah. But you know, if this is what contracts are for. Like contracts work two ways. If you sign a contract for X number of years and they're going to pay you X amount of money, then he's perfectly entitled to run down that contract. So, unfortunately, that's kind of done his reputation, his image has got a little bit tarnished after that.
So I mean,
completely successful, and he's entitled to do that.
There's no question as to how brilliant or talented the guy is. Nobody can question that. It's just, once again, I think it got to the point of different managers wanting different things and not playing him or wanting to play him as he could or he should. The issue started with Zidane. Zidane played him initially, then stopped playing him. So there is talk that if he's coming back, now there's a World Cup, that there's a possibility he might go to Cardiff. Neil, do you see that actually happening, or do you think a Premier League club will go in for him?
Do you mean like a weekend away? Or do you mean signing for him? Because there's absolutely zero chance he's going to Cardiff. I mean, he doesn't need the money, right?
We hope so.
Unless he's got a really bad gambling habit when he's been playing his golf and losing thousands of pounds on a few holes. Other than that, then I can't see him needing money. However, I still believe that he would like to get paid more than potentially what Cardiff would offer him at that particular level.
Well,
it's not to say that Cardiff isn't a big enough club.
If he doesn't need much money, if he doesn't need much money, or we should think he's made and set, unless, as you said, he has a terrible golfing, gambling habit, which we don't know. However, he's 32. He will be at the stage where he could take a pay cut to be home, well, at least close to home, wherever he's from in Wales. And it's a case of he's going to actually play football week in, week out, and he's not going to be in the Premier League team and be on the bench. So why do you think Cardiff can sign him?
They can't afford him. He's still going to command $100,000 a week, regardless. Yeah, he's on 500,000, I think, rumoured, right? So
you do know Cardiff were like a mid-table EFL team last season, like not even challenging.
There must be something that will be in the contract. You never know.
like what, that he owns 97% of the club after
It could be.
15
It could
appearances. I mean, I don't see him going there. No disrespect to Cardiff. That's maybe his retirement club if he's looking for 1 year in his. But I still think that Gareth Bale offers a lot, and EFL is definitely not Cardiff. The whole of the EFL is definitely beneath his level of ability, way below. He could still be playing in most of the Premier League teams. Maybe not week in and week out for most of the top ones, but he could definitely perform on the big stage. You know, we've already said he's won everything that he needs to win in Spain. There was the issues after him and Zidane; they must have fallen out. The problem is when you go up against such a legend like Zidane, the fans are going to be with Zidane, right? Because it's Zidane.
Zidane came in, gave them back-to-back Champions League that nobody had ever done. He was a fans' favorite as a player, and of course, going up against him was a loss. However, if we're coming back to the situation, the angry one, do you agree that he's way too above EFL and that there's no chance he will go to an EFL club? And what Premier League club do you actually see him going to?
There is no chance in hell that he's going to play in the Championship unless he buys Cardiff and just plays for the hell of it, like it's FIFA, brings his mates in for a little bit of a kickabout. There's no chance. There's literally minus chances. That's not even no way. Come on, be serious. So we're now talking about Premiership clubs then. So I mean, a few clubs floating around that would take him. They've got money like the Newcastles and that. Could play like the West Hams could have him. There's a few other teams that he could fit into most. Let's say top 6 teams. But the higher he goes, the more bench time he'll get. But if he band 5 to 10, 5 to 8 team that area, he'll be starting. So it's really
I so wish one of his EFL clubs would shock you three. I'm thinking that.
Do you know what's really funny though, JJ? Yeah. He is 3 to 10 on with Betfair to sign for Cardiff. So
if he signs for Cardiff, it's for free. There's no way. I swear to God. Listen, you lot can buy me a Tottenham shirt. If he signs for Cardiff, I'll wear a Tottenham shirt on the next show.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have just heard that here, right there. The angry one will wear a Tottenham shirt if Gareth Bale.
I'm not buying it though. Someone has to buy it for me.
Cardiff. No problem. We'll get you one. We'll get you one. It's all right. We'll get you one.
Impossible.
It is all
no way. Wait.
There's no way, right?
Let me throw a quick caveat quickly, just in case.
No, it's done. Wait. Sorry, it's done.
If he unless he signs for free. If he signs for free, then all bets are off. Because
of course he's going to sign for free. He just left Real Madrid. His
as free wages.
No wages. If there's no wages, then that bet's off. That's not fair. But
we'll get you a spare shirt with any man on the back.
Any guy.
Right
any guy.
But yeah,
okay,
that is crazy though. That's crazy odds, right?
Because it's, as far as I'm concerned, he's 32 years old. He doesn't want to go through the pressure and he doesn't particularly have a good record when it comes to injury and stuff.
He'll get wiped out in the Championship. They'll kick his legs off.
He's a man, isn't he, in that division?
Yeah, he's getting kicked up.
Well, I look forward to the angry one wearing a Spurs shirt, and let's hope that he does sign for Cardiff because he needs to stay fit, especially with the World Cup coming on, and then he still needs to play some good football. So I think that's what I've said. At 32 years old, and the thing with him is not many big teams. Would you describe him as a bit of a luxury player, Dunk? Because I don't think he was described that way in the Premier League. But now that he has gone to Real Madrid, do you think he's a bit luxury? One of those build a team around me, or everything has to play to my style?
No, I think he's a bit past that now. And like wherever he goes, he's taking a pay cut. But there's taking a pay cut and there's taking a pay cut. So yeah, I find it hard to believe that Cardiff thing as well. Like he's 32. He's got to have, unless he's like planning serious early retirement, he's got to have at least another couple of seasons at top level in him. So I mean, if I were to be pressed on where I think he would go, I'd agree with like Mike there. He should be going to a Premier League club, top half, maybe fighting for European spots around there, being a starter. If the Cardiff thing is true, that's pretty mad that he would do that. And then after 32, but maybe he's just so minted from his Real Madrid contract.
After that, right? He's got 2 years of top level football. Then he can still go to America or China for another 2 years if he's about the money or playing football or Italy.
East.
Well, that's a bit of a liberty that saying that.
He could walk. He could walk that. Yeah, but he could play in the centre of the park, right? He can pass the ball.
Listen, according to you, this is how I know you're a goalkeeper. Every fucker you talk about can play in the park. Trent Alexander can play in the park.
No.
Bale can play in the park. Mendy can play in the park. No, they can't play in the park. It's not
Mendy
FIFA.
can't. Mendy can't.
Yeah? It's the only one. But Trent can. But Trent can, yeah?
Let's be honest, Trent would be a decent midfielder, right?
He wouldn't be. He wouldn't.
I wouldn't have him in my midfield. Probably
he
Sadio Manny at
midfielder.
top.
We tried out
Okay.
Chambers.
Before you guys go into your FIFA dream sets, we'll stick to Gareth Bale. So we have a bet on Michael wear a Spurs shirt. Dunk doesn't actually see it happening. And even if Neil has seen the odds, he still doesn't believe. So we'll look out to see
happens,
where
I'm gonna
Gareth
quit.
Bale goes. And either way, I'll be laughing when he ends up in Cardiff. Moving on to more players that are thinking of, leaving, not thinking, they're probably on the verge of leaving and talking to their clubs or already having some sort of dispute. So Robert Lewandowski at Bayern Munich, he has won eight Bundesliga titles, 1 Champions League. He actually has 10 Bundesliga titles, 2 from Borussia Dortmund. He has had a good time with Bayern, and there's never been any rift or any issues that had to do with his contract. But all of a sudden, it's looking like he wants to leave, and I don't particularly know why. There's the conversation that he will be going to Barcelona, which is not bad for a 33-year-old with all that he has won. The angry one, why do you think he wants to leave Bayern, or does Bayern want to get rid of him? Well, which way is it?
According to my sources in the German media, basically, he wasn't too happy about them dragging their feet on his contract. Also read somewhere that he was a bit miffed that they were looking at Haaland, which doesn't really make sense because Haaland's like 10 years younger than him. So why wouldn't they? But I mean, that's by the by. But yeah, he's moving on. I mean, to be honest, he's done all he can do in Bayern anyway. Even if they weren't going to sign a new contract, I mean, he's already got legendary status. He doesn't need to prove anything. The only thing he should have won a couple of more Ballon d'Ors, I guess. But why not go and play in a different league, different players?
The problem we have is this: it comes back to the age situation. So he's 33 years old. Well, we can clearly see he's fit. He, at least from what we can tell, trains well and is a good athlete. But these clubs, when they're negotiating with the 30-year-olds, they obviously stall on money. Oh, we can't pay you what we used to pay you. You have X amount of time left in the game. But he's still delivering. Dunk, other than age, do you think there's any other reason why Bayern, especially now that they lost on Haaland, why Bayern would not want to keep Robert Lewandowski?
For me, it just smacks all about money for Lewandowski and the contract. So we said like contracts work two ways. He's 33. He's got another year in his contract. So Bayern just want to keep him on whatever contract he's on, like whatever wages that he negotiated, whatever it was 2 or 3 years ago, and probably see out that contract and then thanks for your service. And he's obviously, right, I want to be paid more money because he scored, even more goals last season, set the record last season. So I just see it as he's after like an improved contract, more money. And
Will
they
he
just
be
want
wrong though to ask
see
for
him out.
more money, considering the fact that for the past maybe 4 or 5 seasons, there have probably been only 2 players, or maybe at most, if you add Benzema this season, that have been better than him in terms of goal scoring and contribution to the team. So is he wrong if he actually wants more money, especially seeing as he knows this will probably be his last big contract?
Yeah, so it's an age and a contract for him for them. Why would they give him a new contract now and even more money? And again, like what's he going to be asking for? 2, 3 years? So they probably just look at it and say, he's 33 now. We'll just have your last year. Thanks very much on the wages you were on. And then you can go off wherever you want. But he doesn't want that. He wants his move now and he wants his improved contract now. So that's the way I see it.
I mean, I do know that when it comes to the over 30-year-olds, especially in England, they like to do the whole... A few clubs give you 2 years, and then some clubs go give you 1 year, and then we'll see what happens. Some players don't like that because, uncertainty, you don't know what can happen, your family. But with Robert Lewandowski, he has been in Bayern for a long time. Clearly, there should be some sort of mutual understanding in terms of agreement of the contract. Mr. Hinder, other than, as Duncan said, money, the angry one has mentioned, of course, contract negotiations. Or is it just a case of he just wants a new challenge?
I think they've probably handled it really poorly. They were after Haaland. Haaland's gone elsewhere. So that was obviously going to be a big issue if they sign Haaland. What do they do with the amount of money? They can't pay Lewandowski as much as he was maybe wanted and get Haaland in. That was going to be impossible. So I believe they've offered him a contract, which was maybe another year's worth of extension. Wasn't quite what he wanted. He wasn't going to be the talisman. He did get 50 goals. That's regardless of his age. He scored 50 goals in the campaign for them. So that instant, he should have said, we should be giving you another contract. But then they're like, we're just going to get it for Haaland. So their future planning, and I understand from his point of view, he's not dead. He's still got a few years left in him at that. If he keeps himself, what's Ronaldo, 37? It's not like I've ever looked at Lewandowski and going, oh, he's full of pace, right? But if he wants to leave, he can leave. So players over the age of 28 can buy out their contract if they've been at the club for more than 2 years. It's called the Webster rule. So he can buy his contract out for around about 20 million if he wants to, which, let's be honest, if anybody wants him for a season or two and Barcelona, that's not exactly massive amounts of money for him. And that's probably more than they would get. So if they could get an offer of 25 mil, like euros, for example, I think Munich will have to take it. Because if it does come to the crunch, he can just buy himself out. And I imagine he's got that much. He'll get it as a signing on fee going anywhere as a free transfer anyway for a season. He's 50 goals. We're not talking of a 34-year-old struggling in the Premier League, getting 5 goals in a season for Swansea or Fulham in a bad season, right? He's top quality for them, and he's just come off of one of his best seasons.
Were you talking about Lacazette then?
Sorry?
Were you talking about Lacazette this time?
No.
He hasn't got 5 goals in a season.
He's got 4. He's got 4.
You know, one of his was on the goal of the season reel by Sky Sports the other week.
Lacazette's?
His only. It was
the team move where they did the passes all the way up the field and they did a tap in.
The rule's called the Webster rule anyway. If anybody wants to Google it, it's worth Googling. Okay. You have to be over the age of 28 and been at the club for 2 seasons and have 1 year remaining on your contract at least.
So let's assume the rumors are true. Let's assume that in terms of, well, it's not a rumor that he wants to leave or there's some contract issue. But if he does go to Barcelona, the angry one, you have Barcelona kind of in a rebuilding phase, right? And they're still going to get rid of some players. However, Lewandowski, Aubameyang, that will be not bad in terms of a strike force. But do you see them blending the team to have 2 of them in the starting 11?
I hope that he goes to Barca and then Oba gets benched. That's what I hope. Or gets pushed out to the left, so he has to work his ass off like he was supposed to do for Arsenal. But they've also got, what's his face? Memphis Depay still there. And Dembele, I don't know if he's going or not. I think he might be going, but they also have him. I mean, they can blend him, but Lewandowski's going to have to take the centre forward role. You can't be putting Oba there. So either Oba goes to the left, in which case they blend, or Oba just sits his punk ass down on the bench. And
well, you can see that forgiveness is not quite the angry ones thing. But in terms of Barcelona are kind of in a rebuilding phase, as I said earlier on. Bayern Lewandowski, is that a good start in terms of if you want to rebuild the team, Dunk?
Yeah. So what? Lewandowski at Barcelona?
Yes, sir.
Is that's not really for rebuilding the team. That's obviously, given his age, that's like a short-term solution for a couple of seasons. And again, it just goes back to why I think it's about money. Like the dude's a legend at Bayern. He's 33 now. Like, he's not going to. I guess he could just want to prove himself, like you said, in another league. But it's still very short term. You know, it's only going to be 2 or 3 seasons there. So I think if Barcelona are going to get him, you know, obviously if he's getting 50 for Bayern, you would think he would have some, you know, fairly big impact playing in the Spanish league as well. So they could get a couple of good seasons out of him, but it's definitely nothing long term though.
Well, you do say everybody talks about 50 goals, but when you look at the quality of players in Bayern has been the best team in Europe, or one of the best teams in Europe for the past 5-6 seasons. Barcelona has been going, well, a bit down. 50 goals is a big ask, though, going to Barcelona, looking at the quality of players they have. De Jong in the midfield is actually been in talks with Man United. They seem like they're going to lose some players as well. Do you think that he could score that amount of goals in La Liga, Mr. Hinder?
Yeah, 100%. He can score that amount of goals in La Liga, but I don't understand Barcelona's thought process of getting to 34-year-old strikers or in their mid-30s. It just seems too old, regardless of how good they are. That doesn't seem to me to be any form of long-term planning, unless they're getting rid of Aubameyang. I can't
When you
see
look at
anything
it though,
else.
if you're looking at it, the top teams, and when you're looking at the strikers that they have, the teams that actually still use strikers, you don't. Okay, Haaland obviously going to City, but you look at Benzema, you look at Man United, Cristiano Ronaldo, Harry Kane is 29. Most of the top strikers, you don't. How many are you going to call that are below the age of 25 right now? And I think, well, are you? Could it be that they're just looking at solution initially, and then we try and build other players around him?
No, you can't build players around someone that old. And I think the amount of money that he will command, not that he doesn't deserve the money, it was just unrealistic. I mean, what would you have to play? 4-4-2 to accommodate him? 3-4-1-2, I don't know, 4-2-3-1-2. There needs to be him and somebody else to accommodate him and Aubameyang, unless they're just going to get rid of Aubameyang. Lewandowski can't really play out left or right. He hasn't going to have the legs for that anymore. No disrespect to him. Possibly for a better fit, maybe he would look at Inter Milan or Juve.
You certainly think the Italian league is like slow motion, don't you?
Yeah, was Zlatan's 41, right? Let's not put this into any. I was Buffon playing until he was like 59 in Serie A. So Maldini played into his late age. Baggio, Del Piero, they were all aging players. Pirlo was, I don't know, 320 by the time he retired. So it's been known to be a slower pace of league, right? And I think that's kind of one of the advantages of it. Not that it's a bad league to watch, but it definitely doesn't have the pace that we're used to watching. And aging strikers live longer over there. So from his point of view, he's going to have to go to a top club if he leaves, but where does he go and who wants him at his age? And that's got to be somebody, I dare say it, but United, if Ronaldo wasn't there, would be a better fit for him as well, where he could sit at top. He's not going to go to Arsenal. Man City aren't interested in him. Spurs have already got Kane. Maybe there is a big club in the Premier League with a lot of money, but they don't have Champions League football at the moment. Who potentially could be interested in him. And I'm on about Newcastle, and they could afford him as well. That's peanuts for them. It's just like a drop.
Do you think he'd go to Arsenal if Lacazette was staying? Is that what the problem is?
Listen, don't start. I'm in a good mood today. Don't piss me off. Yeah.
Well,
don't talk about Laka.
We'll see what happens with Lewandowski and where he ends up. As it stands, it looks like it's only Barcelona that are interested in him. So if he goes there and hopefully he continues his good form, it'd be interesting to see who Bayern actually gets. But
Let's
talking
get him on
about
the
strikers,
show.
yeah, we should. If everybody knows Robert, please tell him he should come on Grassroot Chat.
Give us a call, man.
Have a good time, and then he can address people saying he's slow, people saying he wants more money. And we shall see.
To be fair, though, his 98 seasons card is quite fast. Just put it out there.
Of course.
Yeah, everyone has in their seasons card there.
Oh, good. Talking about strikers that still want to run away or go away, or is this a case of a striker that is spoilt and just doesn't want to prove people wrong? And I'm talking about Romelu Lukaku. After having a good season 2 seasons ago with Inter, winning the league, looking like he was back to the potential or back to the striker that everybody thought he would be, he was bought by Tuchel as the missing piece, the guy that was going to come in and complete Chelsea. Season started okay, and then all of a sudden it went downhill. He started talking about how he misses Italy and he wants to go back to Inter. Now he has said it that he wants to go back to Inter Milan. The angry one. Should Chelsea just cut their loss in terms of, letting him go if they can? Since the player is not there mentally, you might as well let him go.
Yeah, because basically, for me, the guy's weak-minded. Because you've come, you said you're coming to prove a point, because people said you weren't all that when you were at Man United. You've come, things got a bit rocky. First sign of an issue, you're going to run back to Italy like some pum shot. What's this about? You're supposed to be an elite professional. We can all do that. You go to your job, you don't like probation, and then you bugger off because after a month because you don't like your manager. Sort yourself out, mate. They pay you 100+ grand a week. Sort your shit out. What's this about? And then go back to Milan to do what? Because it's easy for you. It's waste man things. Honestly, he needs to go. He can piss off back to Italy and play with the old men. He's not an elite footballer for me. That's dead. Anyway,
the thing with this is that he came to Chelsea, and then he was saying how everybody knows that Chelsea is his main club. He has always been a fan. That's where he started. Saying all the right things because he had signed for the club. And then, as the angry one I just stated, he had a dry patch, and you start talking about running back to Italy. Is he saying this knowing that there's a possibility behind the scenes of things we don't know that he won't be able to get back into the Tuchel team, even if he has played the last few games of the season, Mr. Hinder?
Like a sideman.
But I don't feel sorry for any of the footballers because they're on a bucket load of money and they're paid to play football. Sometimes things don't go your way, and that's any job, and it isn't quite right. But you need to buck it up sometimes and move on. If Chelsea get rid of him, they're going to lose a lot of money. Now, do the new owners want to lose that much money in their first month of ownership of the new season? Inter Milan have already said they can't afford him. Not sure what they spent all their money they got from him, but that just shows that the club's running at a massive loss anyway in Italy. So they'll be waiting for a government bailout, no doubt, at some particular point in order to be able to do that. I feel that they've made a mistake. They never handled his initial interview correctly at Chelsea, and Lukaku didn't handle it correctly from start to finish.
Surely these guys have like a PR or some guy that tells them what to say, or at least address questions properly.
Yeah, of course they do. But you saw the cuddle video that they put out at Chelsea. It was just, the whole thing was just handled poorly. And do you know where he could have done his biggest talking was on the pitch, and where Tuchel could have done his biggest talking was leaving him on the pitch as well, and them showing a united front together of, you know what, and working quite right, but we're definitely going to make it work and get it right, because Chelsea weren't good towards the end of the season at all, and they really could have done with getting on and doing with it. If I was Chelsea, I'd just get rid of Tuchel and keep Lukaku. You're going to lose less.
Said this.
You'll lose less money, right? You lose less money getting rid of the manager, and in theory, Lukaku is a good, proven goal scorer. The issue is he isn't proving it at the moment, and has he really proved it in the Prem? It's a little bit up to debate. He's playing in a Chelsea team that's gone through a little bit of a transition. They've got a new ownership. It'll be interesting where they come out and how it looks. I don't think that any of the Chelsea signings they've made in the last few years really have been great. Werner, Havertz, Pulisic, none of them have really been setting
I'm sure you don't even think Mendy was great too, or is great.
I've told you about Mendy. I put Kepa back in, man. Mendy flapped towards the end of the season. He's had his chance. It'll be interesting what happens in the new season, Nate.
It will be interesting. However,
can I confirm that Kepa's super whack? By the way, he's really not a good goalkeeper, so I wouldn't put him in over Mendy.
I want to confirming that. That's confirmed now.
That's confirmed. Just to let you know, it's whack.
Is it, Doug? While these two are confirming flights and goalkeeper, the question here is: have we come to that point where a footballer just says, "I'm not happy here," and all of a sudden, there's no talk or there's no walk in trying to understand why aren't you happy? As they say, you're paid well, you're given all the wonderful facilities, you're Chelsea, you're the top club, so stay and play. Or as I said, do you just let him go after he said, I don't want to be here? Because you have seen players say, I don't want to be here, and then after some time they change their mind. Neymar at PSG, Messi at Barcelona. Yes, he did leave, but he still wanted to stay. So with Lukaku, is it he doesn't want to stay because maybe there's no getting back in Tuchel's team, or it's just, I don't want to be in England? Either way, would you let him go on the basis of, oh, my mental health, or just you try and, cuddle up with him and say, okay, you know what, you're the best, you can do this?
So just two things before I answer this question. One, nothing's confirmed until it's got my seal of approval. And two, we should start a Serie A episode because it'd absolutely go down the treat the way we talk about Italian football on here. Anyway, sorry, what was the question? Lukaku, yeah. So I think last season there's just been like irreparable damage between Lukaku and Tuchel. That kind of culminated in that. Was it Sky Sports that put it out, the joke video about was it 5 touches against Crystal Palace?
I think it was
something.
I can't remember who, but somebody did. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was Sky Sports that actually put that out. So like it culminated in that, and like that's a problem. Like he wouldn't have been happy about that, and that has to do with like how the team plays. If you're not providing your striker anything against like a mediocre team in Crystal Palace, not one of the big guns. So it just seems like there's been irreparable damage between the two, and that he just doesn't want to play for Tuchel anymore. So will he get his way? I don't know. Yeah, it's like Neil said. Are they prepared to take that hit? I don't think they'll be prepared to take like a huge hit. If they're going to sell him, they're probably still looking to get back 60, 70 million. And if they're not going to get that back, he might be forced to stay there. But because when you asked it, have we reached a stage where players can just like act like that? We've been there before. There's been players that have done that, but in this situation, there's probably a bit too much money at stake, the transfer fee and the wages he's on. So it looks like he might not get his way unless they're prepared to take a bit of a hit.
So I've got a stat for everyone. Before we move on, I've got a stat on Lukaku, and I'm going to ask you all a question, and I want an answer. How many goals has he scored for Chelsea in total?
4. 12. Just like Lacazette.
12.
Like
since 2011, right?
How many seasons did he play before?
He was there for 3 years.
3 years. Okay, so 3 years in this one. I'll go for 25.
8 goals. He hasn't even got double figures for Chelsea. Yeah.
No.
Hold on, wait.
97 million they paid, right?
Wait, Duncan, can you confirm that Lukaku's any guy? Or what? He's any guy, right? 8 goals in 3 years.
He's the same guy. I think Lukaku and Lacazette are the same guy, aren't they?
Right, I think Laka might be better, to be honest. He's got 7 assists.
Well, one last question on Lukaku. So he says, I want to go back to Inter, specifically Inter. So if Chelsea gets offers from other clubs, is he saying he's not going to go if it's not Inter Milan? Big Dunk?
Like if Chelsea are done with him, they'll ship him out wherever they want. Like, and if he refuses, I'm sure they will they will end that man's career. Like, I think if they want their money back, if they want to get something, like they're not going to pander to him, like in demanding where he's going to go. If they get offers from other clubs, then they'll probably take them. But again, like his reputation has been a bit tarnished. Like scored barely any goals this season. That's got to have a big impact on his value. So who else is going to go in for him?
The angry one?
Yeah, he can't dictate where he goes. Is he mad or what? Whoever puts in the biggest money, that's where he's going. Or you stay asked at Chelsea on the bench. It's up to you. Simple.
And Mr. Hinder.
He'll manage Chelsea. And to shout out, Lukaku will be running the club by the end of the year. He's got to go to whoever he wants to get. Whoever I say he wants to go to, it doesn't quite work in the fact that we're going to sell you to here. He will have 2 choices though. We've got 60 million in from Club A, or you sit in the reserves, and that will be it. And that'll be his. That will be his only decision he gets. But Inter can't afford him.
Although with that goal record, he'd be a great replacement for Lacazette at Arsenal.
What is with you and Lacazette?
To be honest, I'll take him though right now, man.
What is with you and Lacazette? Well,
nothing. He's left.
Let's see what happens with Romelu in the next few weeks. We'll see if he changes his mind again and maybe decides to play football. Our advice to you, Lukaku, is just keep your head down and let the football do the talking. And the angry one you say?
I was going to say, all the time that I cuss Laka, his hero's card, his captain's card is pretty good on FIFA, I've got to say. 93 rated. People know about FIFA. They know. I'm just telling you the facts. His FIFA card is sick.
I wouldn't buy one of those fake cards out of principle, mate.
I've got it in my team. He's sick. He's sick on my FIFA team. I ain't gonna lie. Just not in real life.
All you FIFA lovers, there you go. More advice. Everything you can get from Grassroot Chats. Moving on to another forward who is on the verge, or at least is looking like he's going to leave his club at this moment in time, and that is Sadio Manny. He did say something about the Senegalese people may want him to play for Bayern, and that just cracks me up when all of a sudden your fans are making decisions for you. But from what I understand, there are like 12 Liverpool players that are paid higher than him, including Oxlade-Chamberlain, who hardly plays. He's a starter for Liverpool and he contributes greatly. There was talk that he wanted his salary or his pay at least doubled or, you know, increased though. And Liverpool was saying no, that's not going to happen. Now the talk is that Bayern are actually offering him 300 and something thousand a week. So is this a case of I'm going to where they're going to give me more money and I don't want to live here, but you guys don't see the quality in me? Neil Hinder, what do you think Money is doing? Or is it just a case of, I've tried, I've given you everything, let me try a new challenge?
I mean, to be fair, when he said that I'm going to let the Senegalese people who voted for him to leave Liverpool between 60 and 70%, I was like, that's just ridiculous. What if they told you to go back home and play for like, I don't know, 10 grand a week and you're already on 100,000? Like, you're not going to go and do that, surely. Surely you're not going to do that, regardless of how humble you are.
I thought you were
right?
going to try and name a Senegalese club there.
Absolutely no idea. But I believe it's more competitive than the Serie A. Is he going to go to? Is he paid less than Chamberlain? But that's just down to Chamberlain was a free, right? When they bought him, or did they sign him for peanuts? I think when he left at Arsenal.
Obviously, he's got money.
He's got for money.
Yeah.
So he's got a better agent, right? That's down to his agent's responsibility. And I get that you want to get paid what you deserve, but actually Liverpool are pretty stacked at the top end of the field. He's fighting a losing battle there. Is he going to go to 350,000? Well, he's got another 12 months on his contract, right? So if Munich aren't offering him any money for him, they haven't come in and said we're going to give you 50, 60 million. They'll wait until he's on a free, right? I can't see them paying for him to come to play with them this season. No one's going to pay big money at 350 grand a week and 50 million or 60 million for him to come in. That's the money he's offered, I assume, at the end of the season. Also, that's a lot of money as well, whether he's worth that much or not. Would be won't he be 30-ish, 30, 31 at that particular point as well at the end of next season? So puts him in the realms of Lewandowski. If he goes next season as well, so maybe they'll look for that type of replacement on the money side of things. Anyone else would really be looking for him? I don't know. He could probably do a job at Liverpool. Arsenal. I think he'd probably fit him quite well at City as well.
The thing is now with players like Mane, and a lot of people talk about money, and we've had this debate, or you guys have had this debate on Grassroots many times, in terms of pay me what I deserve. Liverpool seem to have a problem with maybe estimating or giving their players exactly what it is that they might deserve. Salah is still negotiating his contract. But when you look at Mane, look at all he has achieved for Liverpool. He has been a starter pretty much all through his time. He has contributed. Some people even argue that he's more of a key player than Salah. Is it wrong that he's asking... sorry, let me rephrase that. Not that is he wrong. But if it's a case of, I'm a top player, I'm one of your key players, there can't be 12 people. At least, if the worst case scenario, he should be like the fifth highest paid in that team. And yes, you might say it's down to the agent, but if it's just a case of money, why do you think Liverpool go? Nah, we're good. The angry one. I mean, you're a key player, but yeah, we'll manage. We're not going to pay you. We're not going to stoop to your demands.
Okay, well, my sources in the Senegalese media, basically, they said he asked for 4 times as much, which is a bit ridiculous. Although, I guess if he's only in 100, that's 400k. So I think maybe his demands are probably a bit too high, because ultimately you have to be realistic as well. The club's going to have a wage structure. They can't just do a madness and just start paying you silly money, whether you're worth it or not. It still has to fit within the realms of the wage structure, or they have to find a way to give you that money in different ways, merchandising or whatever, to give you the more money for your buck, so to speak. So there is that. But I mean, the fact that he's 12th on that list is pretty poor for somebody so integral. So this is just down to money. He's not saying he's unhappy with Klopp. He's not unhappy with the team. He's not unhappy living in Liverpool. It's purely down to being paid for what you think you're worth, and looking at other guys who you think, these guys are not even starting, and they're getting more money than me. he has to. Liverpool have to look at that and see. So I think that there might be a negotiation back and forth, and I think that they will come to a compromise where he doesn't get the 400,000 that he wants, or whatever he's asking for, but they come to a middle ground because there's no point losing a player of that caliber for the sake of 50, 60,000 here and there. But it depends whether he accepts that, because if Bayern's coming in to offer him what he wants or close to what he wants, and it's about money now, it's not about love for the game or blah blah blah, then, and Bayern is a top club in Champions League.
Oh, is it fair to say, Dunk, that sometimes these players say they want X amount of money, and the clubs can actually negotiate and get to like a halfway point where they can say, okay, fine, let's do this for now, and then maybe if things happen, your stats increase, we'll get more money. But surely Liverpool knew that this was going to happen. Manny has been professional. He didn't stop training. He didn't do any of that. He has played on, he has scored, he has even helped the team. But why is it? I can understand if it's happening to one player, but it looks like it's happening to a few other players, him, Salah. So what is Liverpool not doing right at this point?
It's probably just unfortunate, like two of their best players are coming up for contract renewals at the same time. Obviously, like for it to have made the news and even having all this talk, they've probably let it go a bit too far, and they should have been looking into this earlier. So probably what they've got wrong is however they organise their contract renewals, particularly for their top players. They just seem to have let it get to the stage where it's hitting like headlines because you've got Manny out in the press making these comments with the Senegal fans, etc. Presumably, from what Neil said about Lewandowski, Manny would be in the same situation then with a Webster.
I can tell you for free that Mane will not spend 20 million on himself to go anywhere.
Yeah, but like Neil said, if the other club pays for it, then so presumably Mane's on less wages than Lewandowski at Bayern. So I don't think they'd let it get to the stage where Bayern could just come in and help him pay out that contract, because that would be like criminally undervalued for him. So I think it's just a case of, like Mike said, there's a bit of disparity between what he's asking for and what Liverpool are offering, which is what they publicly said about Salah as well. And they'll probably get it ironed out over the summer.
It's funny how Salah did say that I'm not asking for anything outstanding. These guys have asked for something very simple, and these guys don't want to give me. But it would be strange if Liverpool actually let them run out their contract and go on a free. Unless they might look at it that we have a team that can still compete regardless of whether Salah and Mane stay.
Do you think that? Do you think that it's good though for football, and I mean this in a positive sense, that Liverpool say no to their ridiculous demands? We had the conversation about Mbappe, right, being on €1 million a week. We get to the point where the players are holding the clubs, I don't want to say ransom, but you want to keep your top players, but when their demands are going from 100,000 to 400,000 a week, or 200,000 to 400,000, there is an element of like it's good here. Like how I get other people are getting bigger clubs, but actually we can afford to get better players in as well on a similar wage structure. It works for the club. The club can operate a hopefully some form of profit, or at least an even keel, which is ideal in football, rather than losing money hand over fist. So I would like to think that at some particular point in life that we get to the point where these clubs can just say enough's enough, we can't afford it. We're paying you as much as we realistically can, and we have to cater in for the fact we've got 25 players, we've got everyone that works back office, we've got 100 kids on the books that we're looking after as well, we've got everything else. So you either want to play for us and we're offering you as much as we can, and the footballers say, oh, it's just simple, it's just a bit of money, I deserve it. I mean, you do.
But it is though.
Like,
but yeah, I do.
Yeah,
because I'm making you 5-6 times more than that. You're raking it out of me, regardless.
But this is the problem. But they're not making that, are they? There's no way that if someone's on 400,000 a week, they're making 1.6 million. That's 1.6 million a month, right?
Yeah, but there's no way that the club's willing to pay you that much unless they're getting something out of it. It's not a charity. So
that's what I'm saying, right? So why would the club? That's why Liverpool is saying no.
But you say that though.
That's what I'm trying to say.
It's also, I guess, how you structure the the deal, because Mane might be asking for 400,000 straight out cash money in terms of like your basic wage. They're not going to say that, but he might get 400,000 with bonuses and add-ons and blah 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 blah, which is a different part of the deal, because then your wage fluctuates, because if you perform to that level, then you are worth the 400, and if you don't, then you're not. But
100%, and I agree, Matt. That's what I'm trying to say. The clubs have got to operate a base. This is how much we have to operate. This is what we're turning over. We can give you merchandising deals. We can give you bonuses on amount of games player played. If you did the X, Y, and Z, I get all of that. But as a point where you go, the clubs need to say enough's enough, right? We still need a bit of power with regards to who we get, because we've got to operate, and maybe they can get. He was 34 million, right?
Yeah, but hold on.
Could they find another gem?
But there's 12 players ahead of him. Some of them don't even play. That's money out of the toilet, really.
No.
So
If you look at the players,
so from my point of view, as a player,
is that factual? Those 12 players.
So what the report says that there are 12 players that earn more than him, but
some of them on the bench.
You and Neil and Mike are saying good points, but the only thing I'll say here is that Mane, all these players, they have people that advise them. They have lawyers, they have accountants, they have money men. And the amount of money the teams are making is public record. So these guys can actually tell that these guys can actually afford to pay you a bit more, because last year they made X, Y, Z, and this is the amount of people they're paying. So these guys don't go into these negotiations blindly. They've obviously done their homework. De Bruyne increased his salary from when he resigned his contract, and he didn't use an agent. It was him and his brother and his dad. That's his team. And he pretty much did that with what I've contributed to the team, stats, this is how much you guys make, this is how much you guys pay me. So I think you just need to find the balance when it comes to these things.
That contract negotiation didn't last very long at all, did it? The De Bruyne one. He went in with the stats. They went, you know what? We've got no case to answer for. That's fine. The players that are in front of Mane, and just for those that don't know, Van Dijk is the highest paid currently when this show goes out player at 220 grand a week. Okay, and then you've got Thiago at 200,000 and Salah at 200,000, Trent at 180,000, Firmino at 180, Fabinho at 180, Alisson at 150, Henderson at 140, Milner at 140, Keita at 120, Chamberlain at 120, and then you've got Matip, Mane, and Robertson all at 100,000.
So he's
as you said, Mike. If he's asking for 4 times,
he's not going to get it because the wage structure. He's a great wage structure. But he could at least.
Presumably Salah will be going above Van Dijk with his new contract. So I mean, realistically, Mane's, like we said, is probably on that level as well. So he should be looking to get to like 250.
And also,
like
in football terms, that's pretty low. That's a pretty low wage budget. They've done well to keep it that low. They've kept everybody under 300,000. That's for a top team competing for the titles. Well, in basically every major competition, could have won the quadruple, and nobody's over 300,000. That's some magic work they've been done in the background. So I can see why they don't.
But that's crazy for Mane. He can't have signed a new contract since he joined in.
2018, he signed his last deal. He signed a 5-year deal.
So
that was after he signed from Southampton in 2016.
See, that's on him and his agent.
Yeah,
you can't. He's been paid criminally low compared to like the rest of the squad for the last 3 or 4 years. That's him and his agent. Like, I don't know if Liverpool have flat out said no, we're not negotiating because you've got a contract. But yeah, that's just bad.
It sounds like he wants back pay.
Yeah, it is.
That's what it seems like. Right? I want some back pay from what I hadn't been paid. But so if say they get it hypothetically, and if Liverpool fans are watching, like some comments would be really ideal on this. Who would you keep, right? Because potentially if you start paying Salah and Mane close to 400,000 and you've got Van Dijk at 220,000, who's more important to your team?
Well, you keep all 3 till you negotiate the contract, I guess.
But then Van Dijk goes, I want 400,000. You're not going to get a better defender than me.
Get rid of Chambers then, innit? Chamberlain, get rid of him.
I mean, he has to go at some point at that wage, but that still doesn't make him better.
Off as well,
and Milner as well. Get rid of those 2, and that's the money. Boom, there you go. Everyone's happy.
There you go.
That's what they've worked out.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's see what happens to Mane in the next few weeks.
You could just give Milner to Mane. He could be his butler at home, and you could give Chamberlain to Salah. Could help out around the house a bit.
They'll still have to pay them, so they still won't get the money that they want. Okay, so we move on to the part of the show where the guys here in the studio tell or give these clubs we're about to mention, Liverpool, West Ham, Leicester and Brighton, three potential players that can go there and improve their season, at least improve the team for next season. So since we're with Liverpool, we might as well just stay with them. And if Mane is leaving and a lot of other people are following based on contracts and too old or whatever, Dunk, who are your three players that you think Liverpool should get?
Right, so Mane's gone. We're getting our Mane replacements in. That's what we're doing now, in my hypothetical world. So yeah, if Mane's going, I'm going to make some suggestions for replacements for him. So number one, you've got Dembele from Barcelona. So obviously he's available on a free. Probably want the kind of wages we were just talking about with the other two. He's an option. Like, I don't know if that's someone Klopp would really go for, though, the way he hasn't like gelled in at Barcelona and really performed there. Number two is someone like who really stays under the radar, in my opinion, and that would be Sam Maximin of Newcastle. Like, it amazes me like how there's never any talk. Like, he plays for Newcastle. Like, even like if you go back before they got the owners, like I couldn't believe no one went in for him. I know he had like a couple of injuries and was inconsistent, but like he's obviously got a bit of the magic sauce about him. So
Saint Maximin signed 6 years contract for Newcastle in his last contract, which was like last year, and of course he was out for some time because he had long COVID. But based on the players you have called, are you just calling guys that you think will replace Mane, or these are guys that you think will help, Liverpool do better?
Yeah, replace Mane.
Okay, all right. And your third player?
Is the host like implying that he disagrees with my choices?
No, I'm asking.
I'm sure Duncan initially set this up in his hypothetical world that Mane had gone.
Yeah,
I'm asking in the hypothetical world as well. I'm just asking.
Yeah, so obviously if they were to replace Mane, you would think they would improve the squad as well. So again, like Dembele is a bit more of a long shot. Some Maximin, I think he'd be a good fit at Liverpool, bringing the magic in. Then you've got Rafinha, if he's going to leave Leeds. So he's obviously been linked with some of the top boys. As he was being linked to Man City as well. Again, just someone who could slot straight into their system, do a bit of magic. I think he'd do bits at Liverpool.
Dunk, did you say if he leads Leeds? Do you know what I mean? When?
No, I didn't say it. We're taking the money and just buying the whole Red Bull Salzburg team, Neil. Didn't you know? That's the plan. So yeah, Rafinha's another one, and then like I'll just throw another couple in that like could be possibles. You've got Bowen of West Ham. So again, is he good enough for Liverpool? Maybe Klopp could look at him and say, right, I could improve this guy even more and could fit into that system. And then the final one for like an outside shot would be Dybala, who's available on a free from Juve at the end of the season as it currently stands. So that could be another possible long shot one.
Okay, so those are the players from Big Dunk, Saint Maximum, Dembele, Bowen, Dybala, and who did I miss? Rafinha. There you go. We shall move on to the angry one. Who do you think the potential three players Liverpool should get to improve?
I agree with Dybala because he's a free and he's a good player. Gnabry is also in the same boat, and he can play through middle and he can play out wide, and so that's decent. And I'm going to throw in Wijnaldum, bring him back. He's only 31. Bring the guy back and we'll get rid of to replace Milner. To be honest, because the midfield's pretty decent, but I mean Milner's got to go. I mean, and to replace someone of that quality, even though he's old, I mean, Wijnaldum could do a job. I don't think they should let him go in the first place. But yeah, those are my three. Quick and easy.
Okay, Mr. Hinder.
Yeah, I've actually got four. One of them is exactly the same as Dunk. I think Rafinha would probably be like a glove of that Liverpool team.
You just wrote that down just now. You just wrote that
down
just now.
No. I wrote a different player down. No, Rafinha was first on my list because I think he would be the perfect replacement. He's got a good work ethic. He's used to playing that style of football at Leeds and Bielsa before it changed to whatever they're playing currently, quarterback, Hail Mary. I have got Rafinha because I think Mane will go. Is it I hate to pronounce the guy from Insa, the Turkish guy. Is it Halanoglu? I've got no idea how to pronounce his name.
Shalanoglu.
That's the one. Like, there's no. Oh, it's the funny C. He's got the bit underneath, right, to give it the chat.
Yeah,
Anyway,
he's Turkish.
yeah, that's what I said. He was Turkish. So 7 goals, 12 assists. Attacking midfielder, creative. Think he'd be perfect for them. Martin Terrier, left wing striker from Stade. 21 goals, 4 assists. Again, if they're not looking for Rafinha and they're looking for someone else about that same ballpark, he would be perfect. Another midfielder potentially to bolster up there. Maybe Chamberlain leaving, Milner going, and I'm having a bit of space. Jacob Ramsey from Villa, I think would be a decent player for the future. He looks like he's a good. He looks like a complete footballer, and he can play in the centre of the park as well already. So he doesn't need to change position to fit in for that. But I think he'd be perfect for that Liverpool team. But exciting times if you're a Liverpool fan at the moment.
But they've
Even
got
Mane going.
Harvey Elliott and a few other boys in there in the middle that they're bringing through. So I'm not sure if they go for Ramsey right now.
But are they good enough?
Well, we'll find out.
Well, we shall see. Exciting times, as Mr. Hinder says, for Liverpool. They do have some very good youth players or young players coming in.
I'm going to expose Neil a little bit there. Half of those players that you basically picked are basically players of the month from FIFA. Almost all of them, apart from Ramsey, had a player of the season, player of the month card. I've checked.
What is with you and FIFA?
I'm telling you, they all player of the month. Dunk, back me up. Dunk, back me up. Both of those guys. They were
both of them are in team.
I'll back you up because I packed Shalanoglu the other day.
Yeah, Shalanoglu is in the team of the season, and he's 93 rated, and he's awesome. But his stats don't lie, right?
You're a fraud.
But Liverpool are going to be. Yeah. But if you look at their stats, they're top players in their division, and who the stats from FIFA aren't necessarily true, but their real life stats are awesome, and they're doing really well in the league. Who are Liverpool going to be looking at? They're going to be looking at established players, right? They're not going to be looking at a couple of players that no one's heard of. Once again,
FIFA, please endorse Grassroot Chat so at least everybody here can continue getting cards or whatever you guys do on that. Moving on to West Ham, and they're usually a team that would, the way David Moyes has his team is very compact. I don't even know if they have a 25-man squad sometimes because the amount of players he uses constantly. They clearly have some defensive issues from injuries last season. However, we'll start with you, the angry one. Who are the 3 players you think West Ham should potentially get?
I think they're going to resume their love affair with Lingard if he can replicate. Probably won't, but I think they'll still go for him. I think they need to keep Rice. That's going to be like a new signing if they keep him. And they need a striker. I would say, based on where they are now and what they're doing, maybe somebody like an Ollie Watkins if Suarez goes to Villa, stuff like that. I don't want to say the other guy because we kind of ripped him last week. So yeah, Watkins.
So one question though, with West Ham, they've had the thing they're always trying to get some striker that's done well in another league, and they come and they struggle in the Premier League, and then they finally tailored it to what's his name?
Antonio.
Somebody help me out here, Antonio. So do you think, in case, and especially the way David Moyes plays, do you think they'll actually be looking to get an out-and-out striker?
They're going to have to, because isn't Antonio, he's over 30 now, so they need, and he wasn't scoring at the end of the season anyway, they need, even if they keep Antonio, which they will, they still need another striker. Whether they replace Antonio or they're the backup, they need another striker. They need more firepower.
Okay. Mr. Hinder, who are your 3 players for West Ham?
Who do I think they should get? I really think they should be looking in the ballpark for Gallagher from Chelsea. I know he's going to be quite sought after, but I think they're probably higher up the table than everyone else that's looking potentially for his signature. They need a bit of vigor and youth in the centre of the park. I think he'd be good for them. If not, maybe Chalobah from Chelsea as well. I'm not sure he's as good enough for Chelsea. I think they'll have a bit of a rebuild this summer, and I think he might be on his way out to get some good first-team football. But again, would be a good quality player to have alongside Rice. And then the angry one.
This is Chalobah, the midfielder, not a defender. You know, there are 2 of them.
Yeah, Trevor, not Nathan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Ben Brayton Diaz from Blackburn, just in the ilk of what the angry one said, trying to sign players that score goals in other divisions. Blackburn's top goal scorer, I believe. He's pacey. He has been linked with Leeds and Southampton as well. But he looks to be maybe someone that could come in and do all right for West Ham. You don't know. He's probably more used to playing English style of football, obviously playing with Blackburn, than a lot of the other people that they end up signing that have not had enough experience in the English game, and then they end up suffering from that. But I think the squad is aging there at West Ham, and I think that's at the moment their biggest issue is replacing the older players with some established first teamers.
Okay, Big D, let's go for you. Your 3 players.
So Souček's looking like he's on his way out, so they're going to need a replacement for him.
Where's he going?
Apparently he's being offered to Spurs at the minute, but he's had a falling out with Moyes apparently. So I'm going to go with my first suggestion for them. Now he may have his sights set a little bit higher, but they could put a move in for Eriksen. So obviously he's going to be available, and I think we said it before. Like, I can't see him staying at Brentford. Like he can easily play for a way better team. He's being linked with Man U as well, so you know that kind of area of the table. So they could try and make a move for Eriksen. Tolisso of Bayern is available on a free as well, so he's another midfielder that could come into that role for them. So they'll probably be going for Lingard. After the successful loan spell we had there last season. And then defence, like Dawson's getting on a bit. This name came up quite a lot last week, but Tarkowski of Burnley, like if he's being linked with clubs like Everton, like he might be a good fit for West Ham, use their position because they're getting European football higher up the table to go for someone like that. And just on the striker, another player that's for free, if they were going to carry on in their old vein of strikers that did well abroad, is Belotti of Torino, is on a free. So he might be a bit old, but that could be someone that would fit into their team.
Well, we thank the good Lord that Mr. Hinder is not the West Ham recruitment team, because he wouldn't even look at certain players in Italy, as he thinks they all use crutches or something. But moving on to
that
Leicester.
fits West Ham. They like to buy old Italian strikers, right? And old Italian defenders.
Moving on to Leicester. A very stop-start season. Injuries they were just there in the league. They didn't particularly do much. They did get to the Conference Cup or Conference League semi-final. But let's see. Is this with fit players and ready to go this season? Who do you think Brendan Rodgers should get to add to his team? Mr. Hinder, let's start with you.
Well, yeah, they didn't really live up to their hype, and yet they've still got quite a few players that are looking to leave and go to maybe bigger and better things. So I've got 3 players potentially. Now, Leicester have got to be looking up, I think. That's got to be the key thing to them. And they can't really get involved with looking at the same players as maybe Fulham will be looking for and Bournemouth will be looking for at that half. So that's the way I've looked at it. Coyote from Metz, strong centre back. They definitely need another centre back there. I've looked through the PSG team and they're really heavy on midfielders. And I wonder if Ander Herrera might be on his way out. And I'm wondering whether that would be a good replacement for Leicester, of a player that's got some really good Premier League experience, forgotten about, really, since leaving the Prem. Anyway, on his way back. And then a striker, because they struggle to find one that can find the net when Vardy's not playing, and that's one of the biggest ones. I've got Raphael Bohr from Frankfurt. He's got 8 goals and 6 assists, but he seems decent. They need someone to learn from Vardy now, not wait until Vardy has disappeared completely. So, yeah, that's got to be top of their list at the moment. And if Tielemans goes, they're going to have to get a replacement in the centre of the park. And Maddison evidently might be on his way out as well now.
So with Leicester, they have Dakar, Iheanacho, and Vardy. However, when Vardy plays, everything is suited to the way Vardy plays. There's no different strategy or tactics. We're going to play. Vardy stays close to the last defender. stretch out the defense line because of his pace. Do you think this has also been, I don't know, what do you call it, a failure of the manager, a downfall of the manager? Does he, when Vardy has been injured, which he was majority of this season, and he was playing Iheanacho and Daka, they still scored. But do you think Brendan Rodgers failed to suit the team around those strikers? Do you think he was still expecting them to run like Vardy when obviously they can't?
Isn't it a bit hard though? Like, you've got Vardy who scores that many goals. You've got Iheanacho that's barely scored any goals. They bought Ayoze Perez that had a half a good season after they bought him from Newcastle. And then Lookman, I believe, is on loan. But
No, they bought him now.
They bought him. So I knew they were trying to get that deal over the line. But none of those other than Vardy, you're sticking up top by themselves. Everyone else, so I look at that list and I'm going to want them out wide.
Yeah, but that's exactly
Perez.
what I'm saying. You should tailor your style to the strikers you have or the players you have.
Yeah, but it's too hard for the midfield to then tailor their whole new game. So you're looking at a plan A and a plan B and maybe a plan C. Because if it isn't going right, you need a plan B. But the plan B is already in place because Vardy's not there. So that's why they need another striker in now and in early, and someone that could potentially hold the ball up, play slightly different to Vardy, but still using the same basis of the team. At the moment, it just all falls apart when he's not in.
Okay. Big Dunk. Who should Leicester get in?
So first one, we think Tielemans probably on his way out. So as I just mentioned from West Ham, we'll get Soucek into Leicester. So that's probably around the same standard. Like we said, Leicester underperformed a bit this season, but they're normally around where West Ham are. So I think they could look at Soucek. Defense. Neil mentioned him the other week, Salisu from Southampton, someone like that. Like someone like Leicester would be a good step up for him into the top half of the table. They could develop him there. Possibly Max Aarons from Newcastle as well. They got Castagna at right back, but Aarons could probably be an improvement on him. And then the left field signing here that just came up when I was doing a bit of research earlier is Mario Götze. Only has like about a 5 million buyout clause, and like he's obviously at PSV at the minute. They're saying he might be linked to AC Milan, but like if again, like he's probably not going to go to top teams, but someone like Leicester could look at him, bring a bit of quality into the midfield.
It's surprising how young he still is.
Yeah, 29.
Yeah, I
World
thought
Cup
he was
winner,
like 40.
Promising Dortmund player, one of those that went to Bayern Munich. So you see, well, he has a lot of promise there. Okay, so are those your players, Big D? Nobody else that? Okay. I'm just looking at the appearances of Kelechi Iheanacho and Patson Daka. So Iheanacho played 26 games for Leicester and scored 4 goals. And Daka played 23 and scored 5. Wow. That is tough.
So 9 goals. So that's more than Lukaku's Chelsea career.
The angry one. Who are the players you think Leicester should get in?
Okay, so I think striker-wise, I think they've got 3 options. They could go poach Richarlison from Everton. If they want to change their style of play, they can look at Calvert-Lewin. If they want to stay in the same type of pacey player, they could go look at David, the Canadian striker, plays in the French league. Those are the 3 type of strikers, depending on what you want to do. I think Calvert-Lewin and David are probably more of a better option because Richarlison, I'm not sure he's actually a really striker. He's kind of in the middle. Middle of the park, if you're going to replace, what's his face?
Tiedemann?
No. Yeah, Tielemans or the English guy. What's his name again?
Madison,
that's it. I'd look at the Ox if he go. Well, we've already decided that he's going because we need money for Mane. So Ox is going to go. Let him go to Leicester. Or I'm throwing out there Gigi Wijnaldum again, throwing him in the mix because he apparently wasn't happy.
Gigi will probably go there because he might even start. I don't think he'll start in Liverpool if he goes back, according to your suggestion.
Yeah, so I'm throwing Gigi in. So those are my, it's more than 3 picks, but 2 areas.
I mean, ladies and gentlemen, I like how we said 3 players, but this guy just add an extra incentive. I mean, players are even suggested to be butlers for other players. This is amazing. And we move on to Brighton. This is a team that possibly will have more people going in to buy players off them with the Basumas and all that. But let's see the 3 possible players you think should help improve Brighton under Graham Potter. Start with you, Big D.
Yeah, so before I say this, like Brighton have a good recruitment policy, and they seem to have a good scouting network, so they'll do a much better job than my suggestions here. It's actually hard to come up with players for Brighton because they're good at picking out players that people haven't really heard of before. So the first one for me for Brighton, I'll go for Eddie Nketiah, because if Palace are being linked with him, Brighton had a better season than Palace. Like they're still going to be a good mid-table team. So if they've got ambition, they could look at someone like Nketiah up front. Or the other one, Neil's already stolen them from me, would be Diaz of Blackburn. So again, a team like Brighton, I think, would have the capability to go in for him. 23 goals in the Championship this season, and he had some injuries as well. And then, if again, just staying in the Championship, if they're looking at maybe bringing through some younger talent, you've got Gibbs White of Sheffield United, who looks to be a pretty good talent in the middle of the park. And then you've got Willock of QPR. So there's a couple of good young English midfielders that could be possible signings for them.
All right, the angry one.
Right. As a tribute to Neil and Dunks, I'm going all English now. Young English, all the way. So I'm saying,
please don't make any tribute videos for either of us.
No, I won't do. I can't sing anyway. So I'll agree with Eddie. Yeah, we'll have some of that. Chalobah, either of them.
Isn't Eddie Ghanaian?
Yeah, he's now.
He's playing for
only
them
this
now.
season. He was English last season, so technically, I would still count him as English. He's gonna play for Ghana, but he hasn't yet, so he's still English. So I'll take that one.
All right.
Yeah. And Chalobah, any of them can go there. Doesn't matter which one, the defender or the centre back. Loftus-Cheek, because I'm not sure he's doing much at Chelsea. Well, we'll see with the new owners, but that would be worth a shout, I think. So those.
Loftus-Cheek might actually be a good shout, especially with Lallana getting a bit, towards the end. But yep, thank you very much, the angry one, and Mr. Hinder.
Yeah, I was a bit like Dunk on this one. Not that I don't think any other team does their recruitment well. I'm sure they've all got a proper network in place. But finding players that would fit the Brighton ilk and the way that they seem to get the maximum out, they're desperate for a striker, though. There is no doubt about that. They need someone that can score goals continuously. I think they've only got like two strikers on the books, and one of those is leaving. I think Danny's leaving, isn't he? Welbeck, which just leaves Malpay there. They need to keep Trossard. I think he needs to have a new contract. That's important. It looks like they're losing Cucurella as well. He looks like he's been linked with a few clubs at the moment. But a striker I've got is Luis Openda from Vitesse, 19 goals. He's quite young, Belgium. They need someone that can score regardless.
A couple of special cards in FIFA, I believe. Yeah.
I have got no idea on that one.
I wasn't going to say it. I wasn't
that.
going to say it. I just left it this time.
I can genuinely say that 33 appearances, 18 goals, 2 assists. And evidently, according to transfermarket.com, he is only 4.95 million, so pretty damn cheap. Jesse Lingard, I think he could do well at Brighton. Potter is a top manager, seems to manage the individuals well. I think maybe he could get the most out of Lingard. And the other one I've got, ex-Chelsea, ex-Man United, Juan Mata. I believe he might be leaving as well. He's an experienced
midfielder. He's already gone. There are rumours that they might want him to come back as coaching staff, but we'll see.
I think he could do well, and I think they didn't really ever get the old pro other than Welbeck, right? They didn't who maybe could help out and knows a bit about the Prem. What I did like the start about Juan Mata the most, he only had but he was already there before. That doesn't count. He went home. I think he had like 2.5 seasons at Chelsea, and he had 8 seasons at United. Yeah, he was. Everyone remembers him for his Chelsea days, right? But that's crazy. Poor Mata.
Who's everyone?
Because he won stuff at Chelsea now.
Yeah, basically.
You know, he won the Champions League at Chelsea. He didn't win the Premier League at all in his entire career.
Well, he was at Man U for 8 years. That's one of the reasons.
Well,
maybe he might next season at Brighton if he goes.
You never know. Maybe he might. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. The boys in the studio have given you their suggestions. I mean, the suggestions for Liverpool, West Ham, Leicester, and Brighton. We also discussed Gareth Bale, Robert Lewandowski, Lukaku, and Sadio Manny. It's been a good show. Thank you very much, people. It's been a show where the Italian league has been killed. Lukaku has been called a poom shot, and Dunk has made everybody know that nothing goes forward without his seal of approval. So till next time, ladies and gentlemen.
Wait. Can I throw in a stat today? The biggest stat today.
Yeah.
How many times did Julian use the word wonderful in this episode?
Can I answer that?
Zero.
No, it hasn't finished yet.
No, I didn't. I said it once, actually. I said it once.
Well,
I counted.
it's still under the radar. Well done.
That is wonderful, though.
That is wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are looking forward to Gareth Bale joining Cardiff so we could see the angry one wearing the Spurs shirt. But till then, it's goodbye from Mr. Hinder.
Wonderful.
Goodbye from Dunk.
Cheers. See you on the next one.
And of course, goodbye from the angry one.
Adios, amigos.
Till then, ladies and gentlemen, more things.